fandom community podcast brought to you by...
Oh
my God! My body is so ready, but also not at all. I truly, oh my God, I have so much energy contained, like, within my skin today. These episodes just get me. But we'll get to that in a second. Hi, hello everybody, welcome to the podcast. My name is Del, and today I am joined by Nomi.
Hiya! Whoop whoop, can you hear me? Did you hear that?
Just gonna assume that happened, I don't fucking know. Honestly, do we expect anything else at this point?
Never works. This is,
No.
Hi.
Nope. And Lethan!
Yay, hi!
Lethan is back, baby!
I'm back! It's so good to be back, and what a time to arrive.
Yeah.
Oh, honestly, what
God.
an entrance.
Yeah.
Honestly. Oh man, okay. So we are into the past arc, aka Turn Back the Pendulum, which is something that I know we have all been looking forward to ever since this podcast first started. Wait for it, 50 episodes ago?
Oh my
Excuse me?
God.
Like, wild. Congratulations to us. I feel very proud, actually.
Yeah.
That's quite the accomplishment.
Yeah.
Aww.
It really is. It's like, I think it works because it is a labor of love, you know? We're here, we want to do this, we fucking love Bleach, and we care about making it through, and I don't know. It's just cool, because a lot of folks don't do that, so I don't know. Humble brag or something.
Yeah. Own it. Yeah, we got it.
Yeah. Here, I'm sure we're all just, I'm from the Midwest and you both are from the UK, and so we're all just sitting here like, oh, I don't know how to present myself proudly or take compliments. We're all that. Oh, God. Well, I think we should just get into it, right?
Yeah.
We got 4 episodes to cover. I'm going to say buckle up, listeners, because we are all so excited, we're just going to go. So if these episodes get a little long, great. I'm here for it. I hope you are too.
All the more love, yep.
Genuinely. And there's so much to love and hate and feel stressed about. And happy about. There's so much.
Oh, wow.
Take it away with those episode recaps before I lose my damn mind.
Okay, so we're starting off with episode 206. The past chapter begins. The truth from 110 years ago. We watch as a giant pendulum swings us back to the past, to a time where Aizen was still a Shinigami and Shinji was a captain? Wait, with long hair? Hello! Anyway, let's keep these summaries free of uncontrolled flailing, shall we?
No.
So, yes.
I won't.
Lieutenant Aizen of the 5th Division collect his captain, Shinji Kyouraku, and the two of them make their way to the 1st Division barracks, with Aizen not falling for the April Fool's prank Shinji had been trying to pull by making him dress up for the occasion. Mm-hmm. Once at the barracks, they're greeted by Hiyori with a kick to the face. Nothing's changed there, then. And we meet some other familiar friends as well, including Love and Rose, who are also captains, and Lisa, who was the lieutenant to Kyouraku, in what seems to be a very good choice with how she has no problems in putting him in his place. As people talk and the story is told, we find out that the previous captain of the 12th has been promoted. Not to Central 46 as Aizen thinks, but to the Royal Guard, also known as Squad Zero, and the ceremony today is to welcome in the new captain of the 12th. In a glimpse to the past, within a glimpse of the past, we learn that Yurichi, who is the captain of the 2nd and the Omniscido, is wanting that new captain to be her 3rd seat, Kisuke. Which, if you've been paying attention to the amount of times it's been hinted at in the previous seasons, then this shouldn't come as too much as a surprise. Soifon, however, is dubious about letting Kisuke take command, and spends her day following Kisuke around and writing at length why she thinks he's not a good fit, only to have Yorichi tease her by saying Soifon must be in love with Kisuke. Finally, after following Kisuke on a mission where he single-handedly apprehends a bunch of defectors and still makes it to his captain's exam on time, Soifon concedes. The episode ends with Kisuke being introduced to the captains in attendance.
And this brings us into episode 207, 12th Division's new captain, Urahara Kisuke. This episode starts off with a captain welcome party for Urahara, who's late. You might even say he's late to the party. Yeah? God, you guys have missed me, haven't you? Anyway, despite despite being everyone... Sorry, I'm going to start that again. I laughed and then caught myself off guard. Anyway, despite everyone being a little bit hesitant in the face of their new captain, none is less accepting of Urahara than Lieutenant Hiyori, who proceeds to shout and berate him for the rest of the episode, literally. Urahara tries to bring a bit of peace to the division by telling some of his soldiers they're right to enjoy the quiet and proceeds to lounge with them until Hiyori comes and challenges him to a fight. Despite getting kicked in the face, we later find out that Urahara clearly let that happen in a move that was beyond calculated. And later that evening, Shinji appears to give Urahara some friendly advice, explaining that the last captain, Hikifune, was like a mother figure to Hiyori. But despite that, he shouldn't try to be something he's not. As Shinji walks away into the night, he reveals Aizen watching him, and when asked how long he'd known he was there, Shinji replies, "Since you were in your mother's womb," which is kinda badass. This episode ends with Urahara informing Hiyori he's taking her on a class trip to the Maggot's Nest.
Which, appropriately enough, takes us into episode 208, Aizen and the Genius Boy. Kisuke starts off by taking Hiyori on this school trip of Maggot's Nest, a place where no criminals are held, but rather people who could be criminals if left unchecked. No one is allowed to leave the service of the Gotei 13, and if they do, well, they're not allowed to run around unchecked through the Soul Society. Which raises a whole bunch of morality questions, but we'll leave that for the discussion part of the podcast.
More like expands on. Ugh.
Once inside the Maggot's Nest, Kisuke introduces Hiyori to an old friend of his. Friend being used most loosely, as it's none other than Mayuri Kurasuchi. And Kisuke offers him a deal. The chance to leave the Maggot's Nest and become his second in command to the new research and development division he's creating. If Kisuke dies, then Mayuri inherits it. Much to Hiyori's shock, the future captain of the 12th agrees. Meanwhile, across the Seireitei, we see a young boy training. This young boy? Why, it's none other than Byakuya Kuchiki himself, looking all fresh-faced and cockeyed and excited when his grandfather Ginrei, the current captain of the 6th, returns home from work. But not alone. Byakuya's joy at seeing his grandfather soon fades when he sees that guest is Yoruichi. With some sort of rivalry between them, Byakuya loses his temper when Yoruichi steals his hair tie, and the two chase each other around Kuchiki Manor, with Ginrei remarking that if Byakuya could control his temper, his skill would improve. I don't know, Ginrei. I beg to differ. I kinda like this spitfire of a boy Byakuya. Elsewhere in the Seireitei, Ukitake is having tea with Kaien. I mean, these episodes are just filled with blasts from the past characters, aren't they?
It's very good.
Kaien, however, is once again turning down Ukitake's proposal that he becomes the lieutenant of the 13th, with him saying that there are much more talented people out there, which leads to Ukitake telling Kaien about the new graduate the 5th Division has just received. Someone who was apparently a genius and completed 6 years of schooling in just 1 year. This boy? Ichimaru Gin, who is looking rather small and adorable in a creepy childlike way and showing off his skill by killing the 3rd seed of the 5th Division in front of Aizen. So, adorable and killing. We'll let you guys unpack that. We then flash back 9 years into the future, and 3 mysterious figures watch as some souls spontaneously combust.
And that brings us to episode 209, Muguruma's 9th Division moves out, in which, as Nomi said, the pendulum swings forward again, but only by 9 years. On a bright, cheery morning in the Seireitei, Kisuke, now flanked by both Hiyori and Mayuri, is greeted by Shinji, who asks Kisuke whether he's heard the news. Residents of the Rukon district are disappearing, and in a deeply unnatural way. They are gone without a trace, leaving only their clothes behind, unable to retain human form. An advance party was sent out to investigate, but they haven't returned. So, Soul Society decides to pull out some bigger guns, and members of the 9th Division, led by Kensei Muguruma and his very loud lieutenant, Mashiro Kuna, traipse out to the Rukongai in a determined pursuit of answers. As the 9th assesses the situation, a huge hollow emerges and attacks 3 young Rukon boys, one of whom, after encouraging his friends to flee, picks up a stick and tries to whack away at his gigantic adversary. And he's brave, bless him, but he is totally outmatched, and the hollow scoops him up. All seems lost for the poor kid until... who should arrive but Kensei himself, who goes Shikai and just about one-hit KOs this big hollow, saving the kid. The kid, exhausted and scared and awed and definitely overwhelmed, breaks down in tears, bless him. But he stops crying for long enough to give Kensei his name, which is Hisagi. Shuhei Hisagi. Meanwhile, Mashiro, who was exactly no help at all in this massive hollow fight, reveals that she's discovered 10 empty Shihakusho, which Kensei aptly concludes can only belong to the missing advance party. The 9th decide to camp out in the woods, hoping to discover clues, and they decide to loop in the 12th Division too, because Kensei speculates that there may be an unknown pathogen that disintegrates souls afoot. Back at the 12th, Kisuke reveals that he's been working on some snappy new tech that might solve this exact problem. A new kind of Gigai that might successfully hold a soul right on the verge of disintegration. Night falls at the 9th Division's camp. All is well for a while, until Kensei hears sounds of turmoil. He emerges from his tent to discover that one of his subordinates has seemingly struck down the rest of Kensei's party, until that subordinate himself falls to the ground. All of a sudden, darkness engulfs Kensei, and he is pierced from behind, right through the gut, with a blade. When the darkness lifts, Kensei casts his eyes backwards, and he recognizes his attacker, who is none other than... Tune in next time to find out, motherfuckers! Cliffhanger time!
Cliffhanger!
Oh, man.
Gotta love a cliffhanger.
Oh, I love it so much! Oh, God! Oh,
So
oh my gosh,
much.
getting to see... It's like a love letter to characters that we... I don't know, it's just so fun. We know these characters, and then we get to see them. It's almost like... It's hard to describe it. It's like that thing where you haven't seen something, and it's like a homecoming. Like, it feels weirdly like a homecoming.
Yeah. There were so many baby characters as well that I was just like, we got a baby Gin, we got a baby Shuhei, and we got a baby Byakuya.
Yeah. Literally, all of my notes just say, Baby Keen! Baby Kayan! Baby Byakuya! Like,
Oh,
literally.
baby Kayan looks basically the same.
Yeah, Kayan looks the same, but no, everyone else, yeah. Everyone's got a baby in front of them.
Yeah. Baby Shunsui. No.
Yeah.
Oh, but baby Ukitake, though, his hair's fine.
I mean, it's the one time he gets an aesthetic change in the whole entire fucking series. Yeah.
I would say though that I forgot this fact, and this is from the first episode. Well, wait, I think we do anime manga differences.
Yeah, we do, but the structure is
is all over.
Whatever.
This will be interesting to find out if this comes up, if there's any changes to this in the anime and manga. Just the 100 years of captaincy that Kyouraku and Ukitake did, but they also said that Urahara was their great senior.
Well, she's like senpai. So she was in position before they assumed their captaincies.
Interesting. I forgot about. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Urahara and Yamamoto are the oldest of the current lineup, and then Kyouraku and Ukitake.
Okay. Interesting.
Yep.
But with that, shall I start with the manga anime differences?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so the mangas, I'll start off by saying that the manga chapters are numbered slightly differently. we start off with minus 108. And they count backwards. Because we're in the past, so they're counting backwards. But if you think the last chapter we were on was 314, and now we're at minus 108. So yeah, they're just numbered slightly differently. But the one manga chapter that we take this episode from is minus 108, Turn Back the Pendulum. That's right. There was only one manga chapter in this whole episode.
Oh no.
So, manga anime differences. There's a really fun one of, in the anime, they had all these panels with the squads on that they got to turn around if they were in the office. I really like that, and it's something similar to what we have in Britain where you slide your name across if you're in the office. But that was anime only. Urahara's impeccable timing when Kyouraku and Ukitake are talking about her and she just appears behind them.
Favorite fucking moments.
Yeah, that's anime only.
I don't care. We're just talking about how it's such a nice day that it's scary. Shouldn't we? Sir! In what world is she gonna buy that, dude?
Honestly, I love it
and
as well.
Ukitake just rolls with it. He's like, yup, ha ha ha. Oh my god.
I love it.
I think about that often. Sorry.
It's fine. And then Urahara goes on to steal Kyouraku's lines about what happened to the other captains. Because Kyouraku explains everything.
Okay.
We have a brief appearance of Ginrei and Yoruichi in the anime, which we don't get in the manga. And then every single thing from the flashback, right from Yoruichi and Kisuke training, the whole Soifon arc, everything is anime only.
I am glad about that, partly, actually. I am.
Really?
I am. So, let me just, I was so annoyed at what they did with Soifon's character here. Because she's one of few female characters in Bleach that I actually really like until we get to this arc, and then I hate her. And it's that, I don't know why they don't do it with some of the male characters, I suppose they do it with some of the hollows and the stuff, but the female characters in this arc are so fucking shit apart from Soifon. They're so annoying, they're whiny, they play into those really annoying stereotypes, and the fact that they did it to Soifon will forever piss me off. But that's my one big negative about this arc. Otherwise, I do really love it. It's very kind to its male characters, but that pissed me off, so I'm so glad to hear that was anime only and isn't in the manga.
The manga literally goes from Ukitake and Kyouraku talking about where the captain of 12th's promotion to Kensei showing up at the door saying, "Everyone's here, old man says get inside." So that's kind of the time frame that we're dealing with.
I will say something that's a little unexpected. So normally it's pretty easy with especially bigger, longer anime like Bleach to go through on the internet and find lists of filler episodes. These two were not considered filler, but there was a note that said an expansion on canon. So my question is, are we meant to take the Soifon stuff as canon or not? I think that's a little up in the air, potentially.
Yeah, the list that I saw said mixed canon.
Yeah, exactly.
Filler. So, and I had our unofficial fact checker looking at Masked and the data book for me, and it's
sister?
not in there either. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Unofficial fact checker. It's B.
Very good.
She'd gone home last night and checked Masked and the bootleg for us, and it's not in there either.
Okay.
So.
Huh.
Yeah, but B was saying, and it did sound familiar, it looked familiar that she might have seen some of it in writing. We just couldn't figure out where.
Okay. It seems plausible, I suppose, is the reason I asked. But it also makes me wonder why they felt the need to include it then. Did they want to give Soifon more screen time, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, because we're seeing Soifon a lot earlier. We don't see her until a couple of manga chapters in.
Okay.
But we've already seen Soifon looking that young, because we saw her in flashbacks back in the rescue arc, when we first learn about Kisuke and Yoruichi. So we've kind of already seen her looking that young and how close she is to Yoruichi.
Huh.
And her hatred towards Kisuke. But this is kind of expanding that Soifon's hated Kisuke since before Yoruichi turned up and saved him and exiled with him.
Sure. I also think, I don't know, thinking about, Lethan, your reaction and how you're displeased that Soifon was given this particular kind of expansion, I think a point in Soifon's favor is this shows very clearly that she knows how to do good research and due diligence and construct a strong argument. She went about this in a very methodical way that makes a lot of sense.
She did.
If this was a modern day, it would be done on PowerPoint.
It's like the kids doing that PowerPoint to their parents to try and get money for something.
Like in Turning Red.
Yes, exactly.
That's exactly what I was thinking about.
Oh my god. Honestly, Turning Red AU for Bleach would work so well.
I love that.
Rephrase. I want members of the Bleach cast to be in a boy band. That's what I actually want.
I bet it's been done a billion times. I bet there's a lot of them out there.
I'm sure it has.
The Bleach Boys.
Bleach Boys. But yeah, that was it for manga anime differences.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
I thought the way that this was introduced was incredibly illuminating in that one of the pieces of narration that was spoken over that first image of that pendulum swinging forward and back was just in reference to all of this. That voice said, "It must be known, and yet it must not be known." And I thought that was a really cool, self-aware way to intro this whole entire arc, because this is stuff that we as viewers had no context for prior to watching this arc, and yet we know that Kisuke has beef with Aizen. We know that Shinji is living in a warehouse with a bunch of really powerful people. We know that these things all go together, and we definitely still have questions as an audience. But nobody in canon has talked about any of it. Like, we know that people get exiled, but we don't know why. All of it is so hush-hush, and it's not like Yamamoto has been like, oh, by the way, Ichigo, here's some shit you should know. Like, absolutely not. And so, it must be known in that, for us, the viewers, to have the fullest and most emotionally satisfying experience watching this show or reading this manga, for us to have that, we need this context, but nobody in canon is gonna fucking talk about it. I thought it was so cool.
Yeah. Dare I say it? No one talks about Aizen. No.
Oh my gosh. Well, they do talk about Aizen. What is
in the same way they talk about Bruno, so you know.
Yeah. Aizen in Las Noches has drawn a little plate onto his big long table for himself and pretends to eat dinner with the rest of the Soul Reapers. Can you imagine? Frankly, that's gonna date this podcast. Everyone's gonna know that we recorded this like right after Turning Red and Encanto came out, but whatever.
It really is. I mean, yeah. This is what people do in the 2020 pandemics, people. Yeah,
That's true.
I just loved, like, in the beginning we got to see all these characters and how close they were and what their dynamics were and, like, just the positions they all were. We got, like, an overwhelming amount of information in seconds. It was great.
But and satisfying. Like, it didn't feel like too much.
No.
It was a lot. But it was like, oh wow, you and you and you. Like, it was exciting rather than overwhelming.
Because it was show and not tell, and this is where Bleach shines, and this is why this arc is so good, is because it's very full of, I'm going to show you and not tell you. It's not like in the middle of a fight and a character suddenly taking 10 minutes to explain how their fucking power works. It's not that.
That would be super boring,
happened.
It does a little, but, like, not as bad.
Yeah.
Because, frankly, they could have done it that way, because you've got this whole army amassing up above Karakura down. So, Kubo could have made that choice, and the fact that he did this instead, genius. Love it. Very here for this.
Yep. So good. And you brought up a really interesting thing, Lethan, with regards to their relationships. We're getting, we know that they're quite a tight-knit group because of what they've been through. But we're still seeing that same sort of camaraderie even before this event has supposedly happened. So we're seeing for the first time a sense of companionships within the different squads that we didn't see with the captains that we know. We're not going to see Toshiro and Byakuya going out for tea on a daily basis, but you know, you would see...
That is a thought is very funny.
No one would say anything. They would sit there and drink their tea in silence.
Yeah.
But you get what I'm meaning. Like, you would totally see that love in Kensei and Rose, and they'd all get together and have game nights, or, you know, they've got that. I get a sense that the squads are a lot closer in this age than they are.
Shinji likes jazz music, so, you know, why wouldn't he have people round to listen?
Jazz music that wasn't
because that depends on whether Rose can tolerate jazz, but I see your point. Yeah.
I also think jam sessions.
Frankly, I feel like Shinji is one of those guys who maybe tried to play 6 different instruments over the course of his life, got a couple of lessons in, and then was like, oh yeah, I'm not doing that. I feel like he's stopped and started that process a million times and plays nothing proficiently. Pure headcanon, but I like to think about
it. That seems like it suits him.
I love that.
Yeah. I also think we get to see we know all of the Vizards are close to each other now, but I think we also get to see instances where some of those folks maybe aren't particularly close, even though the overall feeling among the squads does have this sense of closeness. For example, we don't really get to see Kensei interacting outside of a work context with, like, Lisa or Rose, or, like, even he and Shinji don't really talk. We haven't seen Hachi. Like, some of these people were probably just colleagues, and who's to say whether they would have become very close had they not lived in exile together for 100 years.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's definitely true. It's just that sense of informality. They're all comfortable around each other.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah. It's a lot more formal and stiff upper lip in the present.
Yeah.
We'll call it the present.
Yeah, we can call that the present. That's fair.
Yeah. Then the past is a little bit more relaxed and chill.
Yeah, that's fair. I the Lisa saying that she kicked Kyouraku out of bed this morning, I didn't know how to take that.
What?
I mean, like,
wait, how so?
Like, what's she doing in his bedroom? What's she doing near his bed? Like, I have thoughts about it, but I'm like...
Lethan, what do you think?
Well...
not necessarily. Like, that's fair.
Yeah. From my perspective, I took it as she was waiting for him and she had to go into his room to wake him up.
That was how I took it also, in all seriousness, yes.
Okay.
So just get your mind out the gutter.
Hey, I said...
But I'm also like, something else that we get to see a lot of is people, not everybody, but there's a lot of cool self-expression choices, like aesthetic self-expression. So, yeah, like Lisa doesn't have to wear her skirt that short, but she chooses to, and so she does seem, not that we've seen much of her, but she does seem like the kind of person who would just waltz into Kyoraku's room, slap him on the ass, and be like, get up. Like, that seems very, very plausible.
I wish we'd gotten to see more of Lisa, actually.
I thought you were going to say, I wish we'd gotten to see Kyoraku's ass. I was like, me too!
Lisa's ass, maybe. Kyoraku's, I think I could do without.
Okay, everyone has a type.
I'm with Lethan.
I just imagine hair. Like,
yeah, what's wrong with that?
Let me shave it. I would just get a weed hacker.
No, I think it's kind of charming.
Oh gosh. Anyway, I don't know how that evolved.
Speaking of aesthetic choices, a very important detail that I'd like to highlight is that we get to see Shinji sticking out his tongue, and it's not pierced yet, so if anyone's tracking that journey, here's another little blip on the timeline.
I did not even think about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
No one was doing that in, like, the late 1800s. Like, of course not.
1800s.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Is this the first time we're hearing about Squad Zero in the Royal Guard? Or have they've been mentioned briefly before, but this is the first time we're hearing a bit more about it, right?
I believe so. And it's certainly the first time that we've heard that one can be promoted to that position.
Yes, definitely. Because that whole thing is interesting, hearing that someone has been promoted. And the whole element of where Shinigami go brings up, like, a lot of... because, like, we had a very interesting tidbit of information from Urahara / Kyouraku, depending on which medium you're reading / watching. And it was that 12th has been promoted, the 3rd had retired, and the 10th is dead.
Yep.
So they're lacking captains because they're not there. And the current Kenpachi, who is not the Kenpachi we know, for this is the 10th generation Kenpachi, just didn't want to turn up. So, there's that.
Yep.
So we're getting this information of the fact that people can retire, which, makes sense. But then raises questions in the very next 2 episodes.
I think retiring and resigning are different.
Yeah.
I think if you say, I'm too old to do this job sufficiently, that's different from, I want out.
Yeah, yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Especially because you could still lend a hand in other ways, like maybe you could retire and then help with Central 46 with other things, or
you could teach.
Yeah.
You could teach at the academy.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of stuff you could do, actually.
I wonder if you've got to be a certain level before you can retire,
age.
though. So,
I would think so. I would think.
Like, they would only let Captain Class Shinigami retire because they've earned that level of trust.
Or maybe
whereas
not.
an unseated wouldn't be allowed to retire?
I don't know, because there are only 13 captains and lieutenants. So, presumably, there are a lot more people who, maybe it's also that a lot of Soul Reapers don't live long enough to get so old that they actually need to retire. Because you stay physically able for a pretty long damn time if you're a soul. A soul.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, we'll look at Yamamoto.
Oh, God. Yeah. And Ginrei looks old, too.
Ginrei does look old, yeah.
Yeah, they're the only... And I guess Sasuke shows... Like, he's got gray hair and stuff, but... not that hair color is a sign of anything in Bleach, like, at all. But he doesn't... Yeah. But Sasuke looks like an older person, I would say.
Yeah.
Everybody else looks middle-aged or younger, though. Pretty much. Did you have more to say about the royal realm and that promotion process, Lethan?
No, I just brought it up because I just thought, like, I couldn't remember how much of it we'd heard about before, but I was very interested by Aizen's reaction to that information. He was very surprised about it. And that was surprising in itself. Well, not surprising, but yeah. It was like the first time he's hearing about it by the looks of things.
Either that, or
he's been taking some lessons from... And he's acting his surprise because he thinks that's the right response to take.
Or he's surprised... Or it's either surprise or it could be... recognition, you know? Oh boy, the Royal Special Task Force. I mean, maybe he had his eyes on that job or something. The unbearable vacancy in the throne in the sky, something. Who knows?
Who said that again? Gosh, I can't remember.
Aizen said
I
that.
was being facetious. I'm being facetious.
Sorry. That's another, those panels live rent-free in my brain for forever because it's Aizen and Ukitake talking, so, like, rest assured, if Ukitake is in a panel, it's rent-free in my brain. It's just there. There's nothing I can do about it.
I love that.
Yeah. I mean, me too, but, you know.
I think this was most of the notes I had for this episode, except the fact that I'm still pointing out that Yoruichi still has no Zanpakuto. Like, even at this point, I'm like, still not there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just a whole lot of information that we've covered. We've gotten over the initial excitement of, oh my gosh, it's all these characters. It's like going back to school and seeing old friends, you know?
Yeah, it's very that.
And it's like, you were here, and you were here, and oh my gosh, I remember you!
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's your 110th high school reunion.
It is.
Yeah.
But... Hey, Del, do you want to play your favorite game?
Oh, I sure do! Oh, man! Do I get a poem?
You do get a poem.
Okay. Fuck.
Okay.
Okay.
So, this is the start of volume 36, which is appropriately called Turn Back the Pendulum.
Yeah, that'll do.
And the poem is... It is still too early to believe.
Oh.
That's it. That's what you get.
Fuck. To believe... Okay. Oh.
But you know who this is.
Oh, well, okay. Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, I was going to say, if that...
Yes.
So when you ask me like that, then I know it's Shinji. All right. Is it long hair Shinji or short hair Shinji?
It's long-haired Shinji.
Yeah, boy! Oh, I know that. I know what cover this is. I can picture this. I know what this is. Oh my god, yes, of course.
Yeah!
Well, hooray.
Yay! And basically, all throughout these chapters, there are cute little images on the back of and the end of the chapters that just kind of give a little bit more insight or a funny anecdote, or they introduce characters that maybe you see in the background but they don't have names.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, but the end of this one is actually funny, and it's just a note that states that he knows they didn't have jazz 110 years ago. And there's just this cute little chibi picture of Shinji with headphones on and a record saying, what the heck?
Yeah, that's another thing that I know from fanfic research and stuff, because it's the timeline of when was the phonograph invented, when was jazz invented. I had to look up, I didn't have to, I chose to look up when the saxophone was invented for another Shinji fic roleplay moment situation. The timelines are funny. The timelines don't work.
They are.
Who cares?
No.
Who cares?
I think there is some widely accepted theory that you can always put it forward 20 years as well. Oh. So if we're doing this by real time, it would be the 1890s. Whereas if you transport it 20 years, then it's actually the 1910s, which would fit in with jazz and a lot of other things that maybe hadn't come out yet would fit in if you make it 20 years in the future.
Right. God, I don't know why this has never occurred to me before, but I realize now that means that the folks in exile would have, seen both world wars, especially World War II. Holy fuck.
Yeah, they would have seen Japan. A lot. Yeah. Or wherever they went.
Yeah, that's true. They may not have stayed in Japan the whole time.
Yeah.
Wow.
I actually wrote a fic recently of two of the characters in that kind of time period, and I do touch a little bit on the things they've seen and everything. So it's one of my favorite things just to think and touch on and just go, what kind of things have they seen? What kind of shit have they done?
Well, I just think about things like Shinji getting to see the Beatles. Isn't that fucking cool?
Yeah.
Isn't that fucking cool?
He drags Hiyori to
Well, I was thinking he would go with Rose, but that works too. What if Hiyori is a secret Beatles fangirl a la Four Town? I kind of like the idea of her maybe, having a little, oh, fuck, I think Paul is cute. What the fuck am I supposed to do with that? What can you imagine? Oh, God. Yeah, wouldn't it?
I could just see the two of them stalking them in the background of that image that they did where they're walking across the crosswalk.
Exactly.
If we all look hard enough, maybe we'll find them in the background somewhere.
And, like, just like his teeth in the bushes.
Oh my god! I want that so bad! Yeah!
Speaking of teeth, I can now say this.
Oh?
I brought it up 2 episodes ago.
Okay.
And it was, what is it with people being with the number 5 and having piano teeth? Because think of somebody else who's also associated with the number 5 and has really big teeth.
Momo?
No. Get out. Get out. Leave.
It's so good to be back.
Thank you.
We're never gonna see them because she's never gonna smile again, so it doesn't fucking matter. I'm sorry, I'm kidding.
Oh. I'm kicking you both out.
So good. My respect for you just went up through the roof.
Bashing her.
She's so easy to bash.
I
think
it's not
where
her
we
fault.
were
It's
2
really not her
episodes ago,
fault.
though.
It is a little.
Okay, well, I don't. Okay, 2 episodes ago we were number 5. Are we thinking about Espada? Probably. Oh,
Yes.
yeah, I guess kind of. So I think the requirements for being associated with the number 5 are you need to be a stick. Or being in charge of something with the number 5. No, because whatever. Shinji and Noitora are both sticks. That's my whole point. But, yeah.
Sticks
I guess
with
Noitora
Cheshire-like
has
grins.
piano teeth. Yeah. Shinji's are more noticeable, I feel like.
Oh, they are, yeah.
Maybe it's because he gets more screen time. I don't know. I guess we also find out, so we knew that Kisuke was going to end up captain of the 12th Division eventually. We did not know that he was former Squad 2. That is new information.
Yeah, that is true. I suppose it would make sense given his friendship with Yoruichi, because we knew that they were very close, right?
Sure.
No, we knew that. There was an episode, I think it was Yoruichi telling Ichigo, and she was like, me and Kisuke were both in the academy together, then I joined Omniscido and he joined the 2nd, and we went our separate ways.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
Let me...
This is totally one of those things where, this is something that I just know, and I can't remember when I learned it. You know what I mean? So it's hard for me to remember when we get that new information sometimes, but
Yeah.
Well, either way, we get to zoom in on that in a way that we certainly didn't before. I think we could basically have taken it as read that we were gonna get a little bit of insight into Kisuke's time as a captain once we knew that what our timeline was, once people said the words captain exam, you can put those dots together and figure out that Kisuke as captain of the 12th Division is probably going to be a central focal point of this little arc. But it is really nice to definitely flesh out that relationship with Yoruichi, but also, I mean, when we meet Kisuke, he is a shady, sneaky dude, you know? So that specifically the confinement troops background, it just fits, you know? It's another piece of the puzzle that you get, and then you go, yeah, I can see how all of those component parts work together to make up the Mr. Hat and Clogs we know today.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he keeps his clogs. He's missing his hat,
Yes,
though.
that's true. Oh, I have a fun
His
fact.
hair looks weird without it. Oh, go on then.
My fun fact, and this is something that I think folks that spend a lot of time thinking about Kisuke probably know, but otherwise you may not. Kisuke uses a different personal pronoun in this point in time. When we spend time with him in the present, he uses the pronoun atashi to refer to himself. Typically, this is a pronoun used by women, but it's not necessarily. It can also be tradespeople, shopkeepers, so there you go. But when he is younger and bright-eyed and hatless, he uses the pronoun boku, which is, it's the pronoun Uryu uses, it's the pronoun, oh boy, who the fuck else? Well, Zyle and Kyouraku both use that pronoun, but that's, not helpful for illustration. Anyway, it's your polite speaker young man pronoun, and it's less abrasive. I've touched on this before, than the ore that Ichigo and Renji and Shinji and a lot of other people actually use. But he switches pronouns, which is, I don't know, indicative of a before and after, indicative of a journey. It's just a cool thing to note.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am currently blaming you two for this. I
Yay!
was scrolling back through the manga chapters, trying to find if I could pinpoint that whole scene with Ichigo and Yoichi telling about Kisuke, and I opened up a chapter and it was Momo's dead body, and I'm blaming you two.
Good.
Yep,
yeah.
good.
That's
Virtual
exactly
high
what it
five.
should be.
Yep.
I'm gonna leave and never come back. Then what will you do?
Okay. Great.
Anyway.
I'm enjoying this.
Also, when you say dead body, I just clarifying for the listeners, like Momo just looks dead. That wasn't like a major spoiler for me or anything like that. Like,
No,
that's
yeah,
just-
because I'd gone back.
Yeah,
it was
It was limp
in
and
the Center
unmoving.
46 compound. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Aizen had just stabbed her, Center 46 compound.
Point of clarification that I
Way
think
back.
is important. That would be the most casual way to drop a spoiler. Are you kidding? Oh my god.
That would be great. It would be if Momo died. That would also be great. It's just.
What?
I know. I'm just winding up, Nomi. It's fine.
You see the end of April, Lethan.
Character death is always so sad. Like, even when characters I don't like die, it's usually sad.
No, it's not.
What? I guess I didn't feel anything when Zamari died. I don't care about that. But, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Not that we've seen many characters die. They usually get a moment in Bleach. I usually feel sad.
Yeah.
I think I usually feel sad.
I had a moment for Zyle, and I don't really care for him.
Yeah.
See? So,
Because
you know.
it's agonizing. That is such an awful way to go.
I think I'm
It's
just
so
showing off my
cool.
sociopathic tendencies right now, aren't I? It's just
Just a bit. We should not let Lethan play Among Us before we go into recording a podcast. Even if you didn't get to be a imposter.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, I have nothing else for this.
Yeah, I'm done with this,
Yeah, no,
this
me neither.
episode.
Yep. Okay then, so episode 207, once again, only takes one manga chapter.
No.
And this takes minus 107, Turn Back the Pendulum 2. So is it any wonder why we thought this arc was called Turn Back the Pendulum? Every chapter's called it in the manga.
Yeah.
And basically, the whole Kisuke moving thing, the whole Hiyori versus Kisuke spats, that's all anime only.
Oh
the
my
manga
goodness.
stops when Hiyori leaves after attempting to kick him the first time. She then goes outside and she's like, ow, ow, ow on her foot because apparently Kisuke's got balls of steel. And then it picks up when Shinji and Kisuke talk on the Engawa. They're talking outside. So that whole backwards and forwards between Kisuke and Hiyori is anime only.
Huh.
I'm kind of glad about that.
Really?
Yeah.
Makes
And-
her slightly less annoying. Just slightly.
Slightly
You
less.
think Hiyori's
Yeah,
annoying?
Hiyori.
To me.
Huh.
Just to me.
Sure.
I like Hiyori.
I like her
She's,
too.
Yeah. It's Mashiro who I can't stand.
Yeah.
I can't stand her
she-
either.
I know a million years ago when we recorded that Fireside Chat episode, I gave her a 7 on the scale of how much I like her. I want to amend that and say that that's how I feel about her in the present day rather than now, because oh my god, she's fucking annoying 110 years ago, and it's excessive and unhelpful. And she's also kind of dumb. Like, I mean, I don't know, that part where she's like, oh, I found 10 empty Shahakusho. Does that mean anything? And Kensei's like, yeah. And she's like, what does it mean? Like, come on.
Yeah. The only good thing I can say about Mashiro is I love her hair in the past.
Ooh, it's not for me. It's not for me.
No.
But I get it.
I love the
I like her little glasses, though.
Yeah. And yeah, the only other difference is when Shinji walks up to Kisuke. In the anime, he just goes casually, hey, you look bored. Whereas in the manga, he goes straight into, seems you're having a few problems. Like, Shinji's was there because he knew that he's been having problems with Hiyori, and he's there to give advice.
Oh, I love that. That's a cooler and more specific relationship.
Yeah, and it kind of highlights the relationship between Shinji and Hiyori as well, because he's like,
yeah,
okay,
that's what relationship between yep, exactly. I sort of like the idea, because especially in the previous episode when Shinji refers to, I don't remember, I think maybe it's Rose, I don't remember. Somebody says, oh, it's this guy who's being promoted, and Shinji immediately goes, oh, you mean that guy from Squad 2? So I kind of like the idea that maybe, I mean, I imagine Shinji keeps tabs on a lot of people. Of course he seems a little bit silly, but the more you get to know him, he is watchful and careful and often well prepared. So the idea that he's been keeping an eye on Kisuke for a little while is actually kind of nice to me, if in fact that's what he's been doing.
Yeah, I feel like he does. Yeah, I feel like he's a lot more calculating and a lot more watchful than people.
Oh yeah.
He hides behind this mask of laziness.
Yeah.
Like there's that whole joke where he's like, "Oh my gosh, this slacker is gonna be captain of Squad 2," and Rose is just like, "Well, look who's talking."
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it's like there's a lot of. The whole train of thought's just gone. No.
Sorry, so you said that, and I'm like, how many Disney movies can we... I just thought of Inside Out, and I was like, how many Disney movies can we reference in one episode about not that? But...
They are. I don't know. They've all just got distracted by something shiny. Anger's just there going, what the heck are you guys doing? And Joy's just like playing with a bat and ball inside my head. I don't know.
Oh, you just pulled that. It was more on Up, wasn't it? It was Doug from Up. Squirrel.
Oh, also that.
Oh god, people are here for the Bleach podcast, not
we're
Disney,
talking
but
Disney,
yeah, it's
yes,
fun,
exactly.
fun.
Yes. Yeah, so that's it, because the majority of this episode is pretty much difference, anime only. So
okay, well, there you go.
It's gonna be fun.
I didn't have a whole lot for this episode, actually. I will admit, Hiyori did have a great moment where she calls Yama Baldy, which I thought was very funny.
Yep.
She calls everybody Baldy.
She does,
yeah.
but it's just the fact that it's old man Yama that I was like, it's very funny.
Yeah.
She doesn't give a fuck. No.
And then my
masters.
next little point was like, why is Hiyori so angry? And then we find out, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, and I like that for Hiyori, like that little journey.
Me too.
The whole Hikafune, who was the previous captain of the 12th, being like a mother figure to Hiyori.
Cute. Yeah, it was cute.
So she's probably feeling a whole lot of emotions, betrayal, trust issues, and I have so many headcanons for Hiyori, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, sure.
With, if she was brought up and what her backstory is like, and if that's tying in, and of course they then get exiled and rejected again. Just wanna hug Hiyori. How can you not like Hiyori, Lethan? She just needs a hug.
She has
She'll
her
hit you.
moments. She has her moments of being okay, and then she goes right back to annoying me again.
I think that's the anime's fault, because they do highlight, because that whole spar between Kisuke and Hiyori when Kisuke moves out the way quickly and then gets his face punched, that's all anime only. Mm-hmm. So I think it's one of those things that the anime has heightened the annoyance. It's the same with Nell. The anime makes it worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. That is very true. It's the same with Orihime and Uryu and Renji sometimes too, though. The anime can really make me annoy them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think another thing that can play a role in characters being annoying, especially in anime rather than in manga sometimes, is the fact that there's often a lot of screaming or yelling or crying depending on the character. So Nell screams and cries a lot. Hiyori yells a lot. If you can, if you just read it, you can spend as much time with those panels as you want, and you don't have to hear the sound of somebody screaming or crying or whatever. Whereas in an anime, it lasts for exactly as long as it lasts, and you have to hear the screaming.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless you're not a hearing person and you're just watching with subtitles, I suppose. But
I mean, this is it's not just Bleach it falls into this trope. There's loads of animes that do it, but it just makes me think this is written by somebody who didn't grow up with any women around it because they've no idea how actual girls and women act. Like they're making up their own versions of it because they're like, we don't know. They're alien to us.
Yeah, it's like that, and it's also
just
anime tropes, honestly. It's a combination of both.
I wonder if that's where it comes from, though. I was going to say it might come from the fact that maybe this was a more male-dominated industry, potentially.
100%. Drawing manga is such a... I mean, it's still kind of a boys' club, for sure.
I mean, I read a fact on Twitter that actually there's more female mangaka than there is male.
I'm sure they are, but if you think about the big names they're still probably mostly men, which is a huge bummer.
I also think as well that it could tie in with the voice actors that they choose.
Maybe.
So if you're not gelling with a voice actor, and because I have no idea, he always one of the ones that I haven't listened to in the English.
I have. I'm going to find out who it is real quick. I remember liking her. Hang on a second.
So it will be interesting because I know, for me, for example, Yachiro is unbearable in the dub,
Agreed.
but I can tolerate her in the sub. Whereas it might be different with Hiyori. So if you're not gelling with dub, then you can go to sub and vice versa.
Oh my gosh. Wait. What? Laura Bailey. She really?
Really?
It seems that
Isn't that
way.
Rukia?
No. Rukia is, I want to say, Michelle Ruff. Let me find out real quick.
Yes. No.
Yeah.
Yep. You're right. Yeah.
Because Laura Bailey, I know for sure is also Mashiro. So that's unexpected. Let me just go to YouTube real quick and find a little clip. Because I would know Laura Bailey's voice anywhere. She's like Lust from Full Metal and a million other things. She's also on Critical Role.
Kid Trunks from Dragon Ball.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. You're so right.
Ah, see, that's a voice I recognise.
Yeah. Speaking of Dragon Ball Z, I was so excited to have it come over to Crunchyroll, and then gutted to find out that they can't do it in the UK because some other people own the rights and Crunchyroll can't play it.
Just get a VPN and do it from your laptop. Fuck it. Fuck them. Just VPN it. That's what I'd do. But you know, speaking of Dragon Ball Z, there is definitely Dragon Ball Z reference coming up soon. But it's not in this episode. I think it's not until the final one, actually. Yeah, final one. I've got the note for.
Oh, okay. I'm excited.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of notes for this one. The only other things that I've got down here is Shinji calling Aizen out at the end.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. That is
so fucking cool.
Oh, he just rips away that veil. That is one of the coolest things that happens in all of Bleach to me. I think it is so badass.
Agreed.
It's so good.
It's so good.
And like Aizen's face, and that is the face of someone who's like, oh shit.
He's been had.
Actually,
he did not see that coming.
He did not see that coming, no.
Mm-hmm.
And was that Kido he was using, or was that his Zanpakuto?
Yes, it was Kido. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was thinking the same thing, because the way it folded in on itself and then went behind his back, it could have looked like it was his
That's why I was a bit
Zanpakuto,
confused.
But then I was then I think I remember reading that it was Kido.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
and I've also read that it was Kido. No, that's not his Zanpakuto. Yeah.
The only other thing that I've got for this is the fact that Kisuke literally building up the 12 that we know from the ground up.
Yeah.
So, he's going in there and he's making waves, and it makes you wonder what the squad was like before, and if there was a ton of transfers who found out that maybe they didn't like the direction it was going in and wanted to get out of there quickly.
Because they're so specialized now. Yeah, and we don't know we know Hikifune's name. That's what we know. We don't know anything about what she was like, what she enjoyed, what she prioritized. Nothing.
And with the way everyone is so familiar, like everyone was throwing around first names like it's anyone's business.
Oh, yeah.
We don't know if Hikifune is a first name or a last name.
Do we not?
True.
Do we only
I mean, we do.
Do we only get, no, I know we do. Do we only get Captain Hikifune?
No, we get our full name in the dub. I'm sure.
I thought we might.
Oh.
I thought we did.
Yeah, I'm sure we do.
Yeah.
I thought they just called her Hikifune.
Let me see what I wrote down. Okay, I wrote down
Oh no,
nothing,
that cat.
so-
Oh no, yeah, we actually get a full name. Yamamoto says it. That Captain Kiryu Hikifune.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Hikifune last name.
That's what I
Kiryu
thought.
first name. Yeah.
Yep.
It's right. Yeah, it's right here with Yamamoto's face.
Do you know what
Good,
was
good.
really interesting about this Shinji reveal and Aizen though is that like up until this point Aizen has always felt entirely undefeatable. Like he really has. But with this reveal, we're like, oh, is this somebody that could stand toe to toe with Aizen? Like, you know, it's
Right.
kind of giving us that kind of little shimmy the shoulders, kind of ooh, maybe.
Sorry, I got excited.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay, Nomi. It's fine.
I'm just squealing in the background. Don't mind me. I'm like Dolores with a little high pitch, like.
Him. God.
Not that Dolores.
No,
the Encanto
yes,
Dolores.
of course.
Okay.
Not the Umbridge Dolores.
Oh, God. No.
I'm all hot and sweaty.
I think within this episode, we get to see true colors a little bit more from Shinji and Kisuke in particular, and I think that reveal, that Aizen reveal that Shinji manages is kind of the culminating stroke of all of that, because we know that Shinji is smart and insightful, and so when Shinji goes out to the courtyard to have that little chat with Kisuke, which I think it's cool that he does that in the first place, it's because he senses that similarity within Kisuke. They both do that. They both have... It's neither of them is, like, happy-go-lucky on the surface, necessarily, but Shinji is, you know, relaxed, carefree, fun, silly, on the surface, and Kisuke presents himself like an absolute dope, and he smiles all the time, and the amount of times that he, like, sticks his hand behind his head with his elbow up in the air like that to be like, oh gosh, me? Like, I don't know. Like, they both have that facade, and Shinji sees through it right away, maybe because game recognizes game, but in this episode, we get to see Shinji and Kisuke and Aizen, all of them, kind of acknowledging that those hidden truths within each other. Because Shinji says to Kisuke straight up, he says, you don't look like the type to be much good at thinking about how others feel, and that's when he proceeds to say that the two of them have something in common. So Kisuke is revealed to be this calculating person and potentially this cold person, and Shinji sees that. And then when Aizen and Shinji are leaving together, they have that little conversation where they both acknowledge that the other person is kind of scary, even though Aizen is, you know, polite, says good morning to everybody, and they say good morning back, and Shinji, you know, has all of his silly Shinji-ness, but both of them are like, no, when we're together, we're not doing that. We're not doing that, because that's not what's actually going on here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's...
It's painting them as someone that we should be paying more attention
That's it.
to.
That's
Like,
exactly
these
what it
aren't
is.
just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're not just the comic relief characters. They can be serious, and they're showing us that now, that there is a serious side to these characters.
Yeah. And it reveals just how... We already know that Shinji and Aizen and Kisuke are all smart people, and this is helping us understand the extent to which they are smart. They are all even smarter than we thought.
Yes.
Oh, it's just
I
so
know.
good.
I just thought, I mean, oh my
more
God.
chess pieces.
Yeah, from the time you were in your mama's womb. Like, that
It's
is
so
so
good.
classic to
What?
me. Maybe that's why I'm so excited, because I think about this arc often enough, and I'm just like, oh, that part, and that part, and that part. And some of those things I hear and I see, and I'm just like, ooh, it's that is so quintessential Hiyori, quintessential Kisuke, quintessential Shinji, like quintessential Kensei even. Oh, it is so it's just so exciting and so satisfying, and it feels fun and high octane to watch. I really enjoy it. It's just fucking fun. Stressful, but fun.
Yeah, it felt like every second of these episodes there was like just that little tidbit into an extra character, into an extra relationship. It was just brilliant.
Yeah. I also think that this little arc is animated exceptionally well as compared to probably even the rest of Bleach. If you just look at, like, in those evening shots, the light that reflects off of people's eyes, for example, I don't think we always get that level of super intense detail. Maybe we do. Maybe it just seems heightened because I fucking love this arc, but I just think there's a lot of...
I'm laughing.
Huh?
I'm laughing because you say that. And last night my sister sat there wincing going, oh my gosh, the artwork is so bad. Oh my gosh, the artwork is so bad.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
so that's why I'm laughing.
To each their own.
It's making me excited for the artwork that we're going to see this year.
Yes!
Oh my god, I had that thought as well. Oh god. It's going to be so beautiful.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all my notes for this episode. I'm ready to...
Yeah, I think I am too.
Just my fun fact of, we saw a random lieutenant standing kind of in behind Urahara and Ginrei. You see a very quick 1-second glimpse of him in the anime, but you can see him more. And we get a name from him at the end of this chapter. His name is Seinosuke Yamada.
Oh,
the assistant captain of the 4th company.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I did know that. I just completely forgot about it. Oh, my God. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Seinosuke Yamada, and I wonder if he's any relation to Yamada that we already know. Hinata,
I don't think
for
so.
example.
It's probably just a coincidence.
Yeah.
It's a very common surname, I suppose, isn't it?
Well, it actually is a pretty common surname.
Yeah.
But a lot of these are. Like, Ishida is really common. Inoue
So is Matsumoto.
really common.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matsumoto, yeah. Mm-hmm. Some of them are just like, what the fuck is that? But a lot of them are not.
Yeah. So yeah, if you want to find out, you should read the light novels, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is, because there was only one chapter, that's the only fun fact I've got for this one.
There you go.
So yeah, moving into episode 208, and we have 2 chapters, people.
Boy.
We got 2 manga chapters.
Okay.
We have -106, Turn Back the Pendulum 3, and you guessed it, -105, Turn Back the Pendulum 4.
I'll take it.
We've got a very interesting conversation between Kisuke and Hiyoi that just kind of made me laugh because of the word choices they used. So in both the anime dub and the anime sub, Kisuke is explaining his job role to Hiyoi, and Hiyoi just turns around and goes, so you were a yard hack?
Yeah.
And Kisuke goes, no, I was a prison guard. Whereas in the manga, Hiyoi turns around and goes, you were a prison guard. And Kisuke goes, no, I was the warden.
Oh!
Okay.
So it's just that funny thing of going, like, Kisuke is saying in the anime he was a prison guard, where he's denying the fact that he was a prison guard in the manga. It just made me crack up.
Translation silliness. That's funny, though.
Yeah. That was very funny.
Yeah.
We've got the whole altercation with Big Mouth.
Ooh.
And the other guy who lunges at Hiyoi. So Big Mouth, that whole Big Mouth scene was anime only.
It does not surprise me.
The other guy that punches, goes to punch Hiyoi, actually lunges at Hiyoi in the manga, which then leads to everyone attacking and wailing on Kisuke is anime only.
Oh, what?
I like that too. That was
I
cool,
love that sequence. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was kind of like a turning point in the anime for Hiyoi to go, okay, you know what, I'm starting to trust him now. But yeah, no, unfortunately it was anime only.
Well, motherfucker, one of the notes that I took was, like, how smart of him to wait to show how skilled he really is until there's an actual threat of danger. Never mind.
And then, this might please you, Lethan, but in the anime, he always says, I'm a girl, do you want me to show you my boobs? That's anime only.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
That was stupid. I didn't like that. But I gotta say, at least somebody else wants to show their tits to Mayuri. He needs more of that in his life.
Wow.
He doesn't get enough love.
He gets enough love that he deserves. He gets more than he deserves.
It is not just me that thinks he's a hot boy. I know it's not just me.
He's still a dick.
It's not. There was a lot of love for him the other day for his birthday, so.
Good. As it should be.
I just want to rescue bloody,
Nemu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like trying to think of all the names beginning with N there. I was like, no, it's not her.
Yeah. We got it.
It's getting to that late time at night now. My brain's like, bedtime? I'm like, no, we need to keep going.
Like, Nemu, Nomi, Nova.
Yeah, it could have been anybody.
Noe Toragilda.
Oh gosh, but yeah, I just want to rescue her. I'm like, you poor thing.
Yeah.
So, we got a lot of information.
We got a lot.
I mean, we say that in every single episode, but you know, we get like the history of the Omniskeedo and how the Omniskeedo is worked, how they've got the 5 different classes and how each one's got its own leader. They've got the prison corps, and then they go into that whole thing of Maggot's Nest, which I'm torn with the Maggot's Nest. Like,
really?
I want to know what your thoughts are. With the Maggot Nest is a prison for people who could be dangerous but haven't done anything wrong.
So I actually draw the parallel to this on a movie that I watched recently, just a tiny little movie, not many people have probably heard of it, called Captain America: The Winter Soldier. And it is where Hydra are setting up those giant machines to fly into the sky to shoot anybody who looks like they might want to cause a crime, you know, for the ultimate control. So it's like they're taking out people with like low scores at school and the people that like could potentially go on to do stuff, that have historically done stuff based on their past. And yeah, it's just that taking away that choice, and that's what Captain America fought so hard for, and he's quote unquote one of the good guys. So if he's fighting for that, yeah, it's an interesting point of discussion.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Thought Crimes from 1984. That's what it reminded me of. The idea that you can be persecuted simply for potentially doing something that, potentially thinking about something that could be considered unorthodox or contrary to the ideology espoused by the organization you're a part of.
Oh my god, I would have been arrested years. See the amount of times that I've like seen a little kid walking down the street and I've gone, I could just trip them. Like, you know,
oh, we love intrusive thoughts. Oh, I hear that. Oh no.
Like,
oh,
yeah.
you know, or like I'm walking with like people that mean a lot to me and a car's coming by and I'm like, what if I just push them in front of the car? You know, I would never do it. It's
yeah.
There's a total difference between like that thought of, oh, but the world would shift if this thing happened, and it's just not how you actually act. So
right.
Yeah.
Well, so there's that, and then there are contrary and unorthodox thoughts along the lines of like, I don't like the way Yamamoto structures his army or whatever. I imagine a thought like that is not allowed to let slide either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like, with what we know of the Gotei 13, I wouldn't be surprised if that there's someone somewhere who has a premonition Zanpakuto who's like, oh, this person is going to do this bad thing on this day, and then they just go like throw them in the Maggot's Nest. And I don't know if that's like a book I've read. I don't know if it's 1984 by George Orwell or like if it's another movie.
I don't believe that happens in 1984.
No, I haven't read. No. I've read like the first chapter of 1984 and I couldn't get past it.
Oh really? That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, fine. That doesn't happen. Nobody has like precognition in 1984.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know if that is actually a movie I saw, like one of those dystopian movies or something. But it wouldn't surprise me if that there is someone like that in the Soul Society. with that kind of Zanpakuto who just sits there and goes, oh yeah, you know what? The 7th seat of the 3rd Division's going to do this in 50 years' time. Let's lock him away.
It kind of reminds me of Erased. Have you seen Erased?
No.
No, I've heard it's might be really good though.
Yeah, I really like. It's only 12 episodes. I think it's only 12 episodes. It's easy to get through anyway. And the main character can see bad things before they happen, and then he gets to go back a couple of seconds, and then if he wants to intervene and do something different, he can. It's cool. It's cool.
I mean, if you had a Zanpakuto that could predict it, to me that changes things. Like, I just know for me, like, if I'll just use immediate family for me, so like my little brother and sister who I practically raised, like they feel like my kids, if I knew that somebody was going to do something that would hurt them and I had the ability to stop that before it happened, I would intervene, I think, with that. So it does raise that very interesting moral dilemma of, but they've not committed the crime yet, but they're going to. Yeah, it's interesting.
Well, in that case, you do have certainty, though. I think in the case of the Maggot's Nest, it's speculation and caution.
Yeah, that I don't agree with.
Yeah.
But if it was like somebody had a Zanpakuto or a crystal ball and it was showing them doing it, then it'd be like, okay, that's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost wonder at that point, like, do you end up with a self-fulfilling prophecy, though? Like, you see that thing in the future, and then because you've seen it, now it's in people's minds, and then you can either take action or not accordingly. And you'll never know whether the thing happened because of your intervention or because it was...
Yeah, that's true.
Or whether it would have happened if you'd done nothing. I'm not explaining this well.
Yeah.
It was
no,
destined.
Yeah,
Did you destine to happen? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, and a lot of them were people who resigned, or well, they didn't resign. They just
tried to
didn't
resign,
want to be in the service
quote
of the
unquote
Gotei
resign.
13 anymore. Yeah.
And that's interesting, actually, because did we not see Urahara go out and take down a bunch of deserters in one of the episodes where Siphon was following him? And that's all they wanted to do. All they were trying to do was resign. That's a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which, you know, was anime only, but they must have got the idea from the fact that Kisuke says all of this. I'm trying to find... Have any of your classmates left the 13 Koga companies? 1 or 2? Actually, the companies make no provisions for resignation. When someone leaves a company for personal reasons, it's termed as a leave of absence.
Yeah.
If they leave for an extended period and don't return, it's called expulsion. We don't recognize an individual's right to resign. Resignation means you're put under special care. Guardsmen ordered to resign are forcibly incarcerated here. So, that means that you can still have a leave of absence.
But you have to come back.
You have to come back,
Yeah.
And presumably that's the kind of thing where you say, like, hey, my sister is getting married and she really wants my help planning the wedding, so I'm going to be out for a month and then I'll come back. I don't know if Yamamoto would be down for something like that. Or, you know, my father is really sick. I need to go and take care of him and then I'll come back. Like, I imagine that kind of thing is okay.
Yeah, yeah. And although I don't really think that someone could go up to him and say, hey, look, I've been working here for 150 years. Can I have a week's holiday?
No. I don't think so. But, you know, I guess the flip side of that is when there's not a lot going on, it seems like it's like the Gotei 13, if you like signed on to be a part of the military, it seems like it's a pretty nice, like those dudes that were just hanging out in the courtyard, just vibing when the weather was nice and there was no threat of attack. You know, you can do that. You do get to do shit like that sometimes. So it's not like every single second of every single day is full of training and drills and fighting hollows and things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, and every once in a while, you know, some orange-haired upstart from the World of the Living breaks through and all hell breaks loose.
Well, okay,
you know?
but sometimes you very, very incorrectly sentence a person to death for stupid reasons. So that's really not on this orange-haired upstart now, is it? I hate Yamamoto so much. Anyway, I think my final thoughts on the existence of the Maggot's Nest in the first place are that it fits in perfectly with everything we already know about Soul Society, or excuse me, about the Seireitei and the Gotei.
It's true. Mm-hmm.
It is an ugly organization with some gross shit going on, and they don't want anybody to see their dirty laundry, and there is a fuck ton of it, and there you go. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying everything they do is bad, but there is some shady shit that they decide is okay. They have normalized that deviance to an extreme extent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, the only real question it raises is, what the hell did Mayuri do or not do in order to get himself in solitary confinement?
The list could go on so long. It's Mayuri. When we meet him, he uses his squad members as bombs.
I wonder if it was maybe more to do with his Zanpakuto actually being like a poison that he could control.
Oh, Lethan with the big brain.
Maybe. Oh,
like,
my
if they have a list of
gosh.
everybody's Zanpakuto, then if you've got a...
Yeah.
Like, yeah, because surely they're going to know what people's Zanpakutos are.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'd like
yes,
to hope
yes.
so, yeah, that somebody's keeping that record.
I mean, it's
my
hinted
God.
at in Memories of Nobody, the movie, quote-unquote, filler movie.
No, it's a real movie. It's just filler.
It is,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
it's a filler. But, you know, they must have got the idea from somewhere that they looked up Senna's Zanpakuto and they were like, oh, there's no record of this Zanpakuto.
Right.
And it's,
right.
again, mentioned in Diamond Dust Rebellion.
Right.
Yeah.
So they must have had this idea from somewhere that somewhere along the line there was this huge list of Zanpakuto. So, yeah, if they know what Mayuri's Zanpakuto is, then away he goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
But it also raises the question of the fact that they knew that Mayuri was in the maggot's nest. They knew that he had the potential to do harm. Yet they still made him a captain.
Yep.
Well, if it's one of those calculated risk things, like that actually seems to me incredibly in line with Soul Society's morals and values also. As soon as Mayuri becomes useful, then he's okay to be out and about. Because what is it that Kisuke says? He says something to the effect of, you know, people are placed here. Oh, here we go. If they might put other Soul Reapers at risk or obstruct a squad's duties. Now, Kisuke has created a structure that directly allows Mayuri's skill set to further and help a squad's duties. So he has a place to put his incredible creative energy now, whereas before, maybe he was just blowing shit up, but there was no safe space to blow shit up. I mean, I'm sure it was far more nuanced than that. Now that Kisuke has created a lab with, I was about to say with safety protocols, and I was like, I actually don't know whether they have safety protocols, but, you know, there's a structure in place now. So if Yamamoto can see the case for Mayuri being useful, I'm sure Yamamoto's like, oh good, give me all of the things because I'm a greedy bastard with a gray sense of morality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that leads perfectly into what Kisuke says, in the fact that he says, if we could provide them with an environment in which they could use their abilities, then these threats might be turned into assets.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's also thinking about people as, like, things. Almost in that way, which I love for him. Like, oh, it's so cold. I think that's delicious. Like, the contrast between the happy-go-lucky smiling man who sells candy sometimes and that guy, oof. So layered, so beautiful, such good writing. I fucking love it.
It was interesting as well that like Kisuke, like Urahara can just create a position above lieutenant in this new order that he's creating. Like, obviously we know that Mayuri was a third seat, but he was still like above Hiyori in this department.
Right.
Which I thought was very interesting.
Well, he's coming from the 2nd, which is also a squad that often is like, here is the 2nd Division, and then here is this organization that is directly affiliated, and the ranking systems overlap but aren't the same. True. So he's probably pulling from what he knows.
Exactly, yeah, because he's come from that whole, as we know, Omniscido and 2nd were two separate squads. Mm-hmm. But with Yoichi being the captain, they've merged under one. So you've probably got people in 2 who have nothing to do with Omniscido, and they just focus on the Soul Reaper aspect of the job.
Yep.
And that's probably, as Del says that's what Kisuke knows, so he's pulling from and stealing from other, or not stealing, but being inspired.
Yeah,
by...
it's like most good adventures and scientists do.
Yeah.
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 Baby Byakuya!
Baby Byakuya!
That's exactly what my next note says. Baby Byakuya.
Mine is all caps and it says, "Oh my gosh, it's Baby Byakun." Yeah.
I love him. He's just a lot more brash and impulsive.
He's
And can you imagine if we had this Byakuya in the first couple of seasons? Poor Ichigo would have died.
I want to know how he went from that to this. Like, I want to... Yeah. I'd like to see that journey.
And lost his wife, and then his parents
I got married and lost his wife.
Like, that's
probably.
how.
He still seemed pretty, like, deadpanned even when he was with her. So I'm like, I would just like to have seen that journey.
I mean, I'm sure he just, like, he mellowed with age, and then he lost some people, and then he's the Byakuya we know today.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you think about it, we've got this Ginrei dude who is his grandfather.
This Ginrei dude.
Sorry, Ginrei. We've got Ginrei, who is his grandfather, and his grandfather is the current captain of the Six and the current head of the Kuchikis. Whereas when we know Byakuya, we know him as the current Sixth and the current head. So he's now got a lot more responsibility on his head. He's now got all this,
Well, that's
Ginrei,
what I
and
was
if he
wondering,
has any...
if maybe it came from the fact of, like, him having to take over his head, and there's a certain, not training, but, like,
more responsibility.
There's
and
definitely protocol and formality and etiquette that comes with it, yeah. And we know he likes formality. Like, fuck's sake, his sister calls him Sama, and he's like, yeah, I'm cool with that. Like, bro.
What was interesting was we've known that there's been some kind of animosity between Byakuya and Yoichi because of how they approached each other on the bridge all those episodes ago. And now we're seeing it again. But this time it's Byakuya being very brash and impulsive and going, "Cat lady, it's you."
Yeah. Cat monster.
And Yoichi...
Yeah.
And Yoichi just egging him on and stealing his hair tie.
She's
and
so
just
fun.
going,
I fucking love her.
I do love her.
But I also love that structurally we get this after Byakuya uses his amazing flash step to completely own Zamari. Like, that fight for Byakuya, the Zamari fight, is a massive triumph, both, like, personally, from a character growth standpoint, and just when it comes to technique. Like, he fights very well. And I love that we get to see that. We get to see him really benefit from that awesome flash step, and then we get to see this and find out where he learned it and why and how. And it's like... You gotta wonder whether when Byakuya was fighting Zamari, when he was like, "Ugh, I'm so annoyed that I have to use this technique that I learned from Yoruichi," like, ugh, he was probably just thinking about the way that she used to steal his hair tie in that moment, you know? It's, you know what? I think I'm realizing that one of the many reasons I like this arc so much is because you get to add layers to every single character that you already know. Everybody gets added to in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
And I also thought it was really interesting to hear that Gin was about the same age as Byakuya as well. I thought that was quite interesting, because obviously it's hard to know what ages everybody is when they're, like, present day. But, like, that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But I mean, Gin does look younger.
He looks so young,
like physically wise. But to hear that and to know that they became captains around the same time as well. So, like, literally, they're like two children who have grown up. They have grown up together, and they're totally different ends of the nobility / Rukon scale.
Oh, yes.
But there's so much duality between the two of them, and yet they're still growing up and hitting those stages at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is probably killing poor Byakuya inside, because he's like... Because by the looks of it, this Byakuya hasn't even gone to the academy yet because he wasn't in the
I don't
academy.
think they do go to the academy, do they? Noble families, because Rukia got to like graduate immediately because she.
Kyouraku is not because Kyouraku is from a noble family that's not as important, but he went to the academy.
Yeah.
Ukitake is also minor nobility, and he went to the academy.
Yeah.
It was just.
And so did Kira, and
I wonder if it's maybe
Kira
the
too.
main.
Good point.
The main houses. I just wonder why Rukia got taken out of the academy.
Well, because Kayan. We know Kayan went to the academy. We know that. He graduated in 2-3 years? Something like that.
That's true, yeah. So why did Rukia
get taken out? So yeah, families definitely go to the academy if Shibas do.
Maybe it's just because they've got homeschool. So Byakuya has his uncle. Byakuya has his granddad, and he has Yoruichi teaching him.
True.
And Byakuya probably arranged for homeschool teachers to teach Rukia as well.
Yeah, maybe,
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it does strike me actually that way that the Shibas, just from having met them, do seem like the kind to go fuck off to school yourself, you wee cunt. Whereas like Byakuya, their family does seem a bit more like, oh no, we will arrange for things to happen here.
Yes.
Yeah. Or I can also
the Shibas are a lot more down to earth.
Right. Like the Shibas probably have a nice time. Like I want to go to school and socialize and get to know people and get to know my peers. Like that feels like I could see Kukaku or Ganju or Kaien doing that, wanting to be around everybody. Yeah. Whereas I can see the Kuchikis kind of sticking up their noses and going, ugh, I don't want to associate with that, potentially.
Yes, that's true. That's very true, yeah.
And just look at where they live as well, because Kuchikis live in Noble Quarter and the Shibas lived out in the Rukon with the people, so
Yeah. I mean, speaking of the Shibas, actually, Kaien didn't want to be a lieutenant.
Oh,
I love that.
Yeah.
Sweet boy.
Where he says that there were other people more qualified than him. I wonder if actually part of him was maybe talking about who would become his wife. Is it Miyako? Did I get that
Miyako's
right?
her name,
Yeah. I wonder if maybe she was above him and he was thinking of her as one of those people as he was saying it.
Yeah.
Well,
he's just such a selfless person as well.
He is. Yes. I have another thought, which is, so I know there's that little bit at the end where, so Kisuke says to Mayuri, there's that whole bit of like, if I die, then you get to take my place. And then there's that stupid little thing where like Ukitake's like, oh, I'm going to imitate Kisuke. If I die, you get to take my place. Ha ha ha. And then he coughs. And Kaien's like, that's not funny. But I sort of wonder if Kaien stepping into the lieutenant role, because I firmly believe that Ukitake wanted Kaien to be his successor. There is no doubt in my mind that that was his intention. So if Kaien steps into that role, it forces Kaien to acknowledge that Ukitake is not going to be around forever, and he doesn't want to do that. So maybe
I like that too.
I know, by refusing that role, maybe he's trying to not think about the end of his captain, perhaps.
Yeah, I like that too. I like all of that, all of it.
Yeah, and it could be a combination of those things too. But
it could be a combination of all of it. But see that, just take that and wrap it up and put a little ribbon on it. Byakuya hair ribbon would do, and then just send it my way. That's great, thank you.
Yeah, will do. Just want to say, that girl who gives Ukitake the tea? Me too.
I love her.
She's cute.
That's all.
I'll bring in my fun fact then.
Oh, no, fuck off. I already hate this.
She appears at the end of the chapter.
Oh, kidding, I love it. I thought you were about to tell me that was anime only, and I was ready to flip a table.
No.
Thank God.
She appears at the end of the manga and talks about the teas that they have. So Captain Ukitake likes sweeter teas. So he gets Hagoromo, which is the finest Gyokuro
green tea. Yes,
tea.
I knew. Things that live rent-free in my brain again. Sorry.
Yeah. And Shiba thinks it's too sweet, so he gets the cheapest tea they could find.
Oh my God.
Oh, I miss him so much.
I just love it. And I was looking for this. I've been looking for this information because it's not on any wikis, and it's not in any books. It's not in any of the the masked or the bootleg books. It's literally only on this page, and I've been looking for ages for a fanfic, and finally I found it. And I was like, I made something up. We should have just come to you, Del.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Anything Ukitake related, go to Dale.
This is gonna sound like I'm full of myself. I genuinely, seriously doubt there is anybody living on this earth who knows more about Jushiro Ukitake than I do, and I include Tite Kubo in that because I don't think he remembers everything. I think I might know the most about Ukitake of anyone in the world, maybe. I don't think it would be ridiculous to assert that.
I know I could just come to you if I'm ever writing a fanfic and I need to know something.
Yep, 100%,
Dale
I got
will
you.
know. I'm going to them.
I mean, we haven't discussed Gin yet.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Yeah, baby Gin,
Kind
murderer.
of,
Yeah.
murdering the third seat. And
Getting in with the wrong crowd very early.
Oh yeah.
very early. And it definitely makes you wonder because Ukitake leads in with that really good build-up of, oh, have you heard this young genius who graduated in only a year, and Kayan's like, oh, maybe he could take my job, you know. And then it leads into this darkened kind of scene where Gin's kind of proving his worth to Aizen, and it just sets the tone, I think, for the next chapters coming on. We've had the lightheartedness, we've had the fun, we've had the backstory. Now the shit's gonna get real.
Yeah.
And it just sets the tone.
I would also like to just take this moment, right, to circle things back around to my queen, because I barely much talked about her for this whole fucking recording, in the sense that, like Gin was said that he was like a prodigy, got through the academy in 1 year, but they said like Kayan was like the last big prodigy that they saw. And I would just like to remind everybody that Rukia not only defeated an Espada on her own, but that Espada was taking the form of Kayan because it was using Kayan's cells. So there you go, right, done. And with just a Shikai. Okay, I'm done.
That's a very good point.
She's not even in these episodes.
I
Go
just
away.
like to remind people that she's actually pretty damn strong.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with just a Shikai.
Yeah. Yep.
And no seated officer at this point. I'm just saying.
Yes, we actually don't know whether Kayan ever achieved Bankai or not. We don't know that.
That is true.
No,
yeah,
we
that
don't
is
know.
true.
Yeah.
But I'm still saying, like, she's took down an Espada and she doesn't even have a Bankai, and Renji and stuff are struggling, and they do.
Yeah,
Renji's
yeah.
Bankai's not that good, though.
I actually think
it's
Rukia's
not.
Shikai could take out Renji's Bankai.
Yeah.
That'd be a fight I'd like
That
to
is
see.
a fight I'd like
I
to
actually
see,
would
yeah.
love to see
Yeah.
that. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, before we move on to the next episode, quick one of, because we had 2 chapters, there's the other end of the chapter picture, is actually of Akon, who was also in Maggot's Nest.
Yay!
Yep. You only see him from the back in the manga, but Akon was in Maggot's Nest. So Mayuri took him with him from Maggot's Nest,
Yup.
which I think is really cute.
I love.
That is
I
very
really.
cute.
Akon is a really underrated
Akon.
character.
Oh, I love Akon. He's so great.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome. He's a
Hoping-
shithead, but he's awesome.
Hoping to see more of him going forward.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we have episode 209,
Yes,
which
we
takes
do.
again 2 chapters.
Yay!
A chapter and 3/4.
Oh, never mind.
So it's minus 104, turn back the pendulum 5, and minus 103, turn back the pendulum 6. But it stops 4 pages before the end.
Okay.
So those 4 will be on the next episode. Differences we've got is at the bit at the start where you've got the 3 figures watching. The anime shows a face, and there's no words. It's literally just these 3 figures, and then the anime zooms in on a face, which smirks. Whereas the manga doesn't show any faces and actually gives lines and dialogues as the 3
Ooh.
characters discuss the failed experiment. So one of them says, I see, so a normal Kompaku can't retain its original form. The next person says, what should we do? Should we abort the experiment? No. Let's keep going a bit longer.
Oof.
Dot, dot, dot.
Oh. God.
Yeah.
Oh, that is,
That's good.
chilling.
Yeah.
Woo.
We've got the animes talking about the spirits, the souls that died. And I think it's Shinji said, yeah, they died and became spirits in the anime.
It was a little weird. It was a little funny.
But they're already spirits. But the manga says reishi, which is spirit particles, so they probably just forgot the particle. But yeah. Hisagi being brave and fighting the hollow and thus getting kidnapped and almost eaten is anime only.
What? Oh.
Yep.
Fine.
There's a really funny pun in the manga, which is a missed opportunity. The anime has Hiyori and that whole Hiyori and Mayuri exchange, where she's like, "What rank are you? What rank are you? I'm a higher rank." But in the manga, she says, "What seat are you?" And Mayuri goes, "I don't require a seat." That's amazing.
Double entendre.
Standing.
Oh, my man. Oh, that's very good.
That is very good.
Hot
I
and
will give him
funny.
No.
But yes, that's it. Mainly it was that really good bit at the start, and it's just like little bits here and there. But yeah.
Wow. Okay, so I just want to confirm, the part where Kensei commands a crying child to laugh, is that canon?
That's canon.
Okay,
that's
great.
Canon.
I was like, that's gotta be.
Oh, it's canon.
Good. Oh my God.
Kensei is the
I
Lethan
love
of this
him.
world.
He's
Doesn't
great.
do well with kids.
Okay, I'll take
I can
that.
imagine
That's
you
fair.
doing that as
Yeah,
well, though.
I could. Yeah, I absolutely could. Like, why are you stop crying? Stop it. Do you know, when I was 10 years old, my mum looked me in the eye and says, "That's it, you're not allowed to cry anymore because you're 10, you're in double digits," and that was it. I didn't cry
hate
anymore.
that.
Yeah, I stopped crying after that. I wasn't allowed to, so I didn't. Apart from when I became an adult, then I cried.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, But yeah, he strikes me as a kid. He strikes me as my mother. That's my mother. Oh, great, I'm a mother. Fantastic.
I did that the other day when I walked into the office and I was like, oh God, I sound like my mother.
But do you know what I found really interesting about this episode? The clothes, the people just disappearing out of their clothes, that is a Dragon Ball Z thing. And I wonder, like, because obviously we know that the big three took a lot of inspiration, and like Dragon Ball Z paved the way for a lot of shonen anime to get funded and greenlit and inspired a lot of them. And I'm wondering if that was like a little callback to Dragon Ball Z, because one of the main villains in that, called Cell, absorbed people right out of their clothes.
Yeah.
And that's a nice way to do that as well, because it fits. It doesn't feel shoehorny. It fits in with the story.
Yeah.
It does, yeah.
It does. It feels really good. If it was a little like hat tilt, it was very much appreciated from a fan.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like, if you know, it's really fun, and if you don't know, it doesn't take anything away.
Yeah. It's not like there's some. I feel like there were some of the big three, some moments of some of the other big three where I feel like they just blatantly stole stuff straight from Dragon Ball Z, whereas this felt like a hat tilt more than anything, you know?
Yeah.
Also, by the way, do we know what was written on the back of like the Squad 9 unit guy's uniform? Yeah.
Yes, I have it as a fun fact. It says Muguruma's Squad 9.
He does have like a special task force. Like, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it just says, because you can see the character for 9 in it, because the 9's from his name as well.
Yeah.
So it's Muguruma's Squad 9 on the back of the jacket.
I would wear that, honestly.
Makes them seem elite.
Yeah. And cohesive. They did seem to have a cool relationship among each other. I will also say it's clear that Kubo put a lot of effort, more than usual, into the character design of these people who we've, like, never seen before. Like, Aishima and... Is that his name? The long-haired guy. Aishima, yeah. And Toto. Those guys.
Yeah, the fact that they all got names.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
You know.
True.
Because, and, like, you know, first names and last names, some of them even.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, definitely put a lot of thought and care, because normally, some people, anime would have added names, but manga wouldn't. So yeah.
And baby Shuhei with the 69, I'm so sorry.
Yes, now we know how he got his 69.
I know. It's also...
Bless him.
God. Kensei made a fucking choice, man.
Right on his fucking face. Like, that was definitely a choice. That was like a lot. I bet you a lot of the ladies would be interested in that though. Like just that. Like, does that mean a position? It makes me
really want to see a reunion between them two.
Oh yeah, that'd be cute.
Yeah. Well, and we know where Shuhei ends up. You know, we know he ends up in Squad 9. So
exactly.
I want to see that journey.
Yeah.
And I also think it's so, like, I don't know, like, Shuhei, oh, bless him, I love him too. Frankly, I don't know, I love almost everybody, but when we see Shuhei in present day, he is always running around, helping people, he's always doing 10 million things, like, all the fucking time. And I get the sense that he's looking after himself last, and we see him doing that here, too. So that's something that's been ingrained in him for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh. He's a good boy. He's a good boy.
Yes.
I want to hug him.
And he's really close to his friends. Like we get little backstory of his friends and their names.
Sorry, I just thought about him and Izuru in their underwear and realized you weren't talking about his present day friends. Anyway, carry on.
No, yeah, I was talking about his
Yeah.
We've got Gyoji, who is, though not as bold as Shuhei, he considers himself superior.
Oh.
And Torihiko, who is Shuhei's timid older brother figure.
Oh.
So he's got that kind of really close, cute little friendships, and probably much like Rukia and Benji's friends, how they kind of expired past their life. No, they probably didn't have the spiritual pressure in order to retain their souls.
Yeah.
And so were moved on. These two guys probably didn't have the spiritual pressure either.
Yeah. Yep.
So left, and Hisagi goes on to become the Hisagi that we know and love now. So.
Found family, man. I love it.
Yeah, found family can be better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I am done. I am all out my points.
Ooh.
Baby Akon!
Baby Akon! I wrote that. That I have just written straight up. Yep. Baby Akon.
Baby Akon. But yeah, this one was definitely a kind of foreshadowing coming together episode.
Yeah.
We didn't get a lot of information that we didn't already know. It was more a case of mysterious voices and finally piecing things together. What I will say though is when Kensei was engulfed in that darkness.
Oh yeah.
Did it remind you of anything?
It did. Funny that. Yeah, there's a couple of things that it reminded me of. I guess we'll find out, right?
Yeah. Eagle-eyed watchers may know, but I probably would have forgotten if I didn't know what was coming up.
I don't remember whether I remembered when I first watched this. I don't know, man. I remember I watched most of this arc while I was working a shitty retail job and there were no customers in the store and I was just like at the computer at the cashier's counter thing, which was really just a table. Not important. But I would pause it whenever customers came in, and then I watched it like over the course of a day in that way, and oh my gosh, I was like sitting behind the desk and someone would come in and I would have to pretend I like wasn't crying. This arc makes me cry. Everything makes me cry. Oh my god. Also, just highlighting that Kisuke we know that he's really successful in his Gigai work in the present day, but this has been a project of his for a really long time, and he kind of mentions some of this pretty casually, because that little bit where we go back to Squad 12 is pretty brief, but it's not insignificant that something he is actively working on is keeping souls from vanishing by sticking them into Gigai.
Yeah, it's all, and only 9 years have passed since he's started up the research and development lab.
Yeah.
So in these 9 years, he's you know, he's probably been doing stuff in that room he had at the second.
Right.
But now he's given this place that he can shine.
Yeah.
He
really created it, actually. Like, yes, the promotion, but good for him for carving out space for himself and saying, this is what I'm going to do with my captaincy. That's a cool kind of agency.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, geez. We get to see Kensei's Shikai. That's pretty neat. That's new.
Yeah. That is new. Yeah.
And he didn't take the time to explain it, which was really nice. He just showed us it. It was great. That's what they should do that more often.
Like, they really should, because part of it well is, to anybody that is watching who speaks Japanese, is like, he's got the word for wind in the name of his Zanpakuto. So once he says blast away Tachikaze, it's like, yeah, all right, we're gonna get some wind power, hooray, and then promptly wind power destroys the hollow and basically a one-hit KO. So not complicated. Not complicated.
Yeah.
But cool. And Kensei's a really direct person, so the idea that his Zanpakuto is like, look, I'm gonna fuck you up with wind, bye, like, that tracks.
Yes, yeah, no, it's, so this is the first, visor that we're seeing.
Shikai. Yeah, it totally is.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's nice. They're always unexpected.
Yeah.
It's like the fact that Mayuri's is the first Bankai is kind of like, what? And then the fact, like, because I don't think he's much of a favorite for a lot of folks, and then the fact I don't know that Kensei is a like, I feel like people are more inclined to like Shinji and Lisa and I don't know, maybe Rose because he's pretty. I don't know how many people have Kensei as a favorite visor.
I think Kensei is one of the favorite ones.
Oh, is he? Okay, well that's good.
More so than like Love or Hachi.
Oh yeah, Love and Hachi don't get enough.
He's definitely he's up
attention.
there. Yeah, I know they don't.
Okay, all right, well that's good.
Yeah.
Hachi, who we haven't seen yet, by the way. Wonder how he gets involved.
No, we haven't.
I wonder when that's going to happen.
Yep.
Yeah. We've seen everybody else. We haven't seen much of Love.
No, but
we haven't seen. He's there. Well, I mean, Love reprimanded Hiyori. Like, you wouldn't see that happening present day. Another captain reprimanding another lieutenant.
Right.
Love, who is the captain of the 7th Division, of all things. Yeah. And then we've got Rose as the captain of the 3rd Division. So they're there. But yeah, we haven't really seen much of them.
Nope. No, indeed.
But yeah, I think that's all the points I've got.
Yeah, I think me too, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm done.
Oh boy. Yeah. It's oh my god, it's such a cliffhanger, and I just love this arc so much that stopping there feels so difficult, but we can do it. We're gonna be fine.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
You've only got a week.
Yeah. No, that's true. It's soon. And what I mean, next week's not gonna be any better. I'm just gonna be a bigger emotional mess of flailing energy. But we'll get there when we get there. For now, we should probably take it to our Shinigami Cup Peroxide Edition. Alright, folks. Who wore it best this week?
Lethan, would you like the honours of going first?
Oh, do you want me to go? Okay. I'll go with Hiyori wearing her Tears of Change.
Oh.
Because there was a moment where she had Urahara by the scruff, and there was tears in her eyes, and you could tell it was because he'd been changing the room which her old captain was in, and obviously that meant a lot to her, so.
Yeah. And I'm really proud that you said something nice about Hiyori.
I didn't say something nice about her. She's crying. I got told at the age of 10 I wasn't
nothing
allowed
wrong
to cry.
It's okay to cry. I cried today. Now you know.
That was cute. That was wholesome. Well done, Lethan.
Yes.
Take the compliment.
Yeah. Take the compliment. Imagine my face like Kensei's. I'm ordering you to take the compliment.
Okay.
Mine isn't so wholesome. Mine is Lisa Shihakaso.
Hey, it's really good.
Yeah, I just love the alteration she's made to it. Yeah.
Mine is pretty straight up. Mine is whatever Kisuke was actually wearing under his haka.
Oh.
I'm sure he was just prepared. I'm sure he observed Hiyori and was like, That's the kind of person who might kick me in the balls. Let me just prepare.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, good work, Kisuke.
Yeah.
Good foresight.
Yeah.
Also, Shinji.
Honorable mention
What?
goes to Shinji.
Oh,
and his
yeah.
manga.
We don't have to say it, but it's also Shinji.
Of course.
Duh.
Also Shinji.
All right. Best ship this week.
So I know that a lot of it was canon, not canon, but fillery stuff. But I have to give it to Yoruichi and Urahara for this one, just because like their training scene together and how she pushed him to become a captain, and there's just full on camaraderie there, and I just whether you see them as friends or something more, it's still a great ship.
Yeah. Mine is similar to that. Mine is, there were big ships and there were little ships, but the best ship of all is friendship.
Oh
and it's the
my
friendship
fucking Christ. It's time for
everybody
bed.
has.
It's time for bed.
Oh.
It's just the friendships that we see, the Hiyori and the Shinji, and the, you've got the Kisuke and the Yoruichi, and you've got even friendships between Hisagi and his friends, Muguruma and his squad. So it's just all the different kind of connections and the friendships we see.
Oh my god! Just oh my god! Oh my!
It's really good.
You love me, really.
I think I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
Well, mine isn't quite so sickly sweet. It's a little bit predictable, but I kind of don't care because I actually do really like it. My best ship this week is Hiyori's feet and everyone's faces. I just love that that's a thing she does and kind of has always done.
She definitely learned quickly after kicking him betwin the legs the first time not to kick him there anymore.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Not worth the risk. Not worth the risk at all. I love the idea that maybe everybody Hiyori is friends with just wears iron underpants.
That's actually quite funny.
Maybe that's the real advice that Shinji gave Kisuke.
Yeah, I think probably. I don't know. I can't imagine. I wonder if Shinji would get some sick satisfaction from seeing somebody else get kicked in the balls, though. Because, I mean, Lord knows he's been on the receiving end of that countless times.
Plenty of times, yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Fandom shout out this week.
Ooh, right, okay. Mine's comes from AC Kakarot Michael on DeviantArt, and it's just like a little light sketch of Hiyori and Urahara as captain and lieutenant, and I just thought it was very cute.
It is cute.
Aww,
I love
that
Kisuke's
is cute.
smile. It's so beautiful.
It is.
Yeah.
I also love
but also here.
It's so funny that he's still got hat hair despite not having his signature hat.
Maybe he does that emo kid thing where he gets out of the not that he showers often, but like he gets out of the shower and puts a beanie on his head right away so he gets the little flippy.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Oh. There's a theme here because mine is also Kisuke.
Ooh.
And mine is from a artist on Tumblr called Jamio417, and it's just Kisuke in his Shihakuso and Captain Sayori, and it's the colours.
Oh, I like that.
Ooh. This is really
And
pretty.
It's just a simple piece, but their art style and the colours and the shading that they've done, it just
Really
really
nice.
it just really stands out.
The line work is really cool.
Mm,
I love that.
yeah.
Mine is also a piece of art this week. I just think it's really, really beautiful. This is a sort of silhouette portrait of Shinji drawn by a person called Pincage on Tumblr. I've been waiting to share this one for a second because up to now it would have been a spoiler. The way his hair falls, the way his shoulders are slumped, it is one of my favorite pieces of Bleach fan art of all time, I think. It's really, really beautiful.
The wee hell butterfly as well. Besides, the window kind of looks like the Senkaimon gates as well.
It
Love
does,
it,
yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. I just think it's beautiful.
Oh, that's so pretty.
There's like a softness to it that we don't often see from Shinji, you know?
Yeah.
But I think it's there in him. He just doesn't show it to the world. I think he keeps his walls up pretty high, you know?
Yeah, this is really cute. I really like this.
This person does a decent amount of like cool, sketchy Bleach art of a lot of my faves. So, you know, give them a follow if that appeals to you. All right.
It's been a journey.
I was gonna say, yeah. Anything else? Or...
No.
I mean, of course it's been a journey. We just went back 110 years.
And then we jumped forward another 9. I've got whiplash, man. I can't move my neck.
Oh man, I know we just finished this, but I'm already so excited for next week. So, oh man, so I hope listeners, y'all get excited too, because I'm sure we're gonna have more to not shut up about this beautiful little glimpse into the past, featuring so many of our faves. Oh God. But until then, you wonderful souls, that is the end of another episode. If you like what you heard and you want to get involved, you can find us by searching for The Seireitei on Instagram and Seireitei on Twitter. Now, Ichigo and Rukia might reap souls, but we are hoping to reap some 5-star reviews, and that is where you come in. Make like our favorite orange-haired protector and go to iTunes and Spotify. I keep forgetting iTunes and Spotify to rate us and review us and make us feel like number one. And to those of you listening on YouTube, don't forget to be like Chad and give us that good thumbs up. We really appreciate it. On the next episode of the podcast, we'll be covering anime episodes 210. Hiyori dies? ? The beginning of tragedy. 211. Betrayal. Aizen's secret maneuvers. And 212. Rescue Hirako. Aizen versus Urahara. I'm fine. We'll see you all then. Till next time. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Hey, you wonderful souls, it's Del here. Just letting you know that we're going to do something a little bit out of the ordinary real quick. So, Nomi picked up on a really cool and unexpected detail over the course of our conversation. And it's a little spoilery if you haven't read the light novel Can't Fear Your Own World, or if you aren't up to date on playing Bleach Brave Souls. So normally this is the kind of thing that we would reserve for another period of discussion or a spoiler episode or something, but like thing number one, we're not really doing spoiler episodes anymore. And thing number two, it is directly relevant to Turn Back the Pendulum and to something that was mentioned pretty specifically within the episodes that we discussed today. So we're going to go ahead and pop it right at the end of this episode right here. So consider this your warning. Going forward, if you don't want to hear a quick little spoiler about Can't Fear Your Own World / Bleach Brave Souls / metaphysical, interpersonal, political, world building stuff for Bleach broadly, then you should probably end the episode here. Otherwise, stay tuned because it's a pretty cool discovery. So there you go. Thank you for sticking with us. We know this one was long, but we had a damn good time. Hope you all did too. And we will see you next week for the second and weirdly final half of Turn Back the Pendulum as we discuss it together. Ugh, this arc is so short. Short but sweet. Anyway, love you so much. Catch you soon. Enjoy.
Maggot's Nest, why is the only other thing I've got to say, and I don't know if I can say it, so feel free to cut it out.
Okay.
But it's all to do with Kisuke says the 4 noble clans. And I'm sitting here going, the sheepers haven't fallen yet.
The what?
So technically it should have been 5 houses.
Oh!
But then I'm like, See, that's the whole thing,
though.
and I'm like...
This is totally off the record, but my didn't Kubo, like, go back in and add the fucking whatever Can't Fear Your Old World one later?
That's what I'm thinking. And
I don't think that... what are they... I don't remember the name. I think that came in later. I think there were 4 originally, and this was 2011, well before... Or this was animated in 2011, so it was published earlier than that.
Yeah.
Way before Can't Fear Your Old World.
Yeah. See, that's what I was thinking. I was like, is this a thing where the Shinichiro clan just hasn't been invented yet? So
I think it's that.
For everyone else it's 4. Or are the 4 noble houses Kuchiki, Shiba, Shihoin, and Shinichiro, and everyone just refers to them as the 4 noble houses, even though the Shibas are no longer anymore, and there's technically only 3. That was the 2 things I was focusing on.
Yeah.
But yeah.